which will be really good, and then we'll be top of mind and help change things. So going forward, I'm happy that there'll be a new voting system as well. And that'll make a big difference. I give you that. Be a part of it. If it goes stagnant, then I'm going. It's going to take work.
Okay, a very good morning, gentlemen. My name is Wim Keeman. I'm the Secretary of FINA EWPC. Before we start this workshop, I would like to do a roll call. This is part of the referees workshop. Team representatives are also welcome to share their thoughts if they have any remarks. But first, referees, Margeta, here's Stavridis, Alexandrescu, Vojvodin, Vlahaev, Sato, Daikan, Stanichenko, Perish, Nikovic, Kun, and Deshido. Yes. Okay. The teams: Australia is here, Canada, Croatia, Spain, not yet, Hungary, not yet, Japan, Kazakhstan, not yet, Serbia is here. Okay, thank you very much. I first would like to give the floor to Dejan Perisic for a short word.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm not speaking as a federation representative, I'm speaking as a person from water polo, and I would like to wish you welcome in my country, welcome in my hometown. I hope that all of you will have a nice time here, that we will have a nice event. Tonight at the technical meeting, federation representative will come to wish you a welcome, but honestly from my heart welcome, and I would like to wish to all of us good success and nice tournament. Thanks for all.
Thank you. Okay, next floor to Mark Organov, Vice Chairman of POE.
Good morning, welcome everybody. This is a format that you're already familiar with, that we have a meeting with referees together with representatives of teams for our on behalf about new rules, new situations. We here just not only to speak, but also to hear your questions and your opinions. So it's a two-way conversation. So please free to ask, or if you have any questions, also referees. So we have some new information comparing to last workshops that we had in Australia. So it's if you've been already in Australia in this workshop, it's going to be some new information because situations are changing all the time. And again, welcome again. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to go in this first part. We're going to go over the new rules. Not so very extensive anymore as we did before. If there are any questions or remarks, please feel free to ask, add your comments, add your observations, because from these discussions, situations will come. As you know, it's the first time that we're playing this, not the first time, but it's the first period that we are playing with these new rules, and for sure there are certain situations that you have questions about, so no problem. Okay, we all know how this process started and how we came to these rules, so I won't go any deeper into that. The first amendment, the new rule which came out, is that the timekeeper will reset the 20-second clock after a corner throw, after a rebound without changing possession, and after an exclusion. That last part is needs some more comment, because general situation, not general, but very often the exclusion will happen when there's a defender center forward situation and there's an exclusion, then the whole team is already in front of the goal. If this situation occurs during a contra-attack, so shot at the goal, contra-attack, and maybe the former center forward does a pull back, exclusion, we have 29 seconds on the clock. It would be a big disadvantage for the attacking team if we put then the clock to 20 seconds, because they have to swim over to the other goal and then set up the attack. So when there's a bigger number of seconds on the clock, then that seconds will stay there. So we don't reset to 30, but we'll stick to 29 seconds and we continue with the attack. Are there any questions about, any remarks? No? Good. Also, when there's a penalty throw awarded, we put the shot clock on 20 seconds. But in the last minute of the game, there is a possibility when a team receives a penalty, the referee must ask the coach if he wants to take the penalty, yes or no. Coach may say, I don't want to take the penalty, I want to have ball possession. In that case, we reset the shot clock to 30 seconds, not to give any disadvantage to the coach who is in possession of the ball.
Excuse me, I have one question.
Yes.
First of all, good morning. So now you want to give one privilege to the coach to choose, it is for him attractive to give the ball, to give him 30 seconds, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. If the coach decides not to take the penalty, to take the ball possession, he will have 30 seconds. Yeah.
And also this information is very important to pass to the people that work in the table. Because this is something changes, you know, and in Greece also we had some meetings and the coach said that maybe sometimes it's not fair that I have the ball and I receive penalty and in 20 seconds.
But it's not
This
30
happened,
seconds.
this happened after the Continental Cup in Perth. This change came after that.
No.
No. This has been in
Please speak loudly because they don't
So,
hear it.
yes. So these changes became from the
Loud,
beginning
loud.
on.
Yes. These changes is since beginning.
About the 30%. Okay, I didn't know.
Bill, you had a question?
No, it's just hard, it's hard to hear back here.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. But the last part you could hear, what he said. Last part you could hear, what George said.
No,
No?
Nice.
You couldn't hear.
Between economy AAA and C.
He asked if this is new, and we explained this has been all the time in the room. Okay. Any?
They can
Why?
sit here.
Yes,
You can sit-
Bill,
come
you can sit here.
Yeah.
The referee is not a problem. If it's hard to listen.
Yeah.
We can even sit beside the
Tomorrow
referee.
it's not possible to
Usually
sit
they
together, but
they
today
are
it's
pretty nice
possible.
to talk.
Kindergarten.
Good ears. Okay. Okay. If you can't hear it, please give us a signal, then we'll talk a little louder. Okay, we said after a corner throw, we reset. Also, of course, when the goalkeeper stops the ball and the ball crosses the sideline, we have the same situation. The shot clock will be reset to 20 seconds. I think we discussed this one about the 20 seconds unless there's more time on the shot clock. We didn't touch the situation of double exclusion. This will remain the same. When there's a double exclusion, we don't touch the shot clock. It will stay with the seconds as there are. Good. About philosophy, we talked about this many times in earlier workshops. We will not go too extensive into it. It's just to avoid more physical game in those static first 10 seconds of a setup after a corner throw. Are there any questions about this new rule? No? Okay. The next one.
Excuse me, one question.
Yes.
Can you clarify the situation with the ball on the door?
Will come later to it. Yeah. In the, I think it's going to be in the referees workshop. You want to discuss it here? Ball under. There. Okay. We'll go for the referees. We'll go more into it later. We'll mention it now. There has been a discussion when there's a center forward defense situation. Center forward gets the ball. The defense goes around it one way or another, catches the ball, puts it underwater and gets possession. And then the referee blows the whistle for a free throw ball underwater. The discussion is, at that moment, do we say this guy who put the ball underwater had possession of the ball, so we have to reset the shot clock to 30 seconds? Or are we saying, because now you have to go deeper into the rules, that the shot clock will be reset as soon as there's a new possession of the ball? And possession of the ball, we mean control over the ball. I think in this situation, this defender just made a foul against the rule, which was punished. And it was not a change of possession. So as EWPC, we have decided that in this situation, we will not have a reset of the shot clock.
But this is also in the past. It's the same mentality.
Yes,
To put the ball under the water doesn't mean he get possession of the ball.
correct, correct.
No, because it was a discussion that some said, if I put ball underwater,
I
it
have
should be
possession.
change of
It's
possession.
not true.
Yeah, because it's not full control of the ball.
Yeah.
So it's the time stays the same.
But this has been a discussion in some places, and that's why we had to discuss it, and we had one of the clarifications for the referees. But if there's a ball under in this situation or any situation, it's not a reset of the shot clock. Is this clear? Yeah. Well, good. The free throw shall be taken from the location of the ball. When the referee blows the whistle for a free throw, the ball is in a different spot, you take it from there. It's going to be, and I'm going to emphasize it a couple of times more, it is very important that you take the ball visibly. Yeah? It could be that a player is swimming with the ball and there's an exclusion called in a different spot. The player who's swimming with the ball has to take the free throw. Please, team managers, tell to your players at that moment when the ball is there, this player has to pick up the ball, release it from his hand, so it's very clear that he takes the free throw. If a player is swimming with the ball and there's a foul exclusion at another place, he can't only continue swimming. He has to pop up the ball or throw it in front of him and continue. So it's very clear that he has taken the free throw. Because when there's a defender nearby, you have to know when this player can attack the player with the ball. Therefore, it's important for the person on the game clock, on the shot clock, when is the ball taken. So this has to be very clear. The ball must be taken. Free throw. On the spot of the ball, unless the ball is inside of 2 meters. George.
So, I have one question. Why the player must stop his action to play the ball and don't continue? Because he has the control of the ball.
He can
Because-
swim,
okay.
he can pay.
Swimming including this.
Yeah, swimming,
No, no,
pick
no,
up the
no,
ball.
Swimming is not included.
Swimming, just the ball is in the water, contra
After
flow, ball in the
the
water,
ball.
and he's swimming, it's, no, he has to play with ball.
Yeah.
He has to put the ball in play.
He doesn't have to stop the throw. But Mark just reminded me, this setup is a little bit different. After we go through the rules, Mark has some clips about the situations, which is good or not. But really, it has to be visibly visible for everybody that he has taken the free throw. He doesn't have to stop and put it up. When he's swimming, he hears the whistle, he sees the situation, and he throws the ball 1 meter in front of him and continues.
So he must touch the ball, and after the ball leaves his hand.
Correct? Then the ball is in play, then the ball is live. To avoid any discussions, was it taken, was it not taken? Yeah.
You created a situation of disadvantage.
If you,
He has the referee shouldn't whistle for contact players. They have to create this.
okay, but
Yeah.
sometimes there's a heavy situation,
Yeah.
or the referee makes a mistake that he
Yeah.
makes a call. But when the situation occurs, he has to show visibly that he takes the free throw. He has to show it. The corner throws. Now, a player who takes the corner throw can shoot the ball directly at the goal. He can also pass the ball, old situation, and the third possibility is put the ball in play, go to the goal, fake, shoot, etc., etc. Now it's very important for the referees that they go to the goal line, to the sideline, 2 meter, not to have an advantage more inside, more closer to the goal, so that's one thing. And please be very careful that the player, again, puts the ball in play. So when the referee said, go to the line, the player goes, yes, play. When he starts swimming with the ball in his hand, he hasn't put the ball in play. The referee has to call a contra foul. Taking the corner throw means putting the ball in play. After that, he can swim, do whatever he wants. Clear? Questions? Good.
It was a question. It was a question asked. With if corner throw player who is playing corner throw receive a ball from a judge or goal judge or from referee, can he shoot directly? The answer is no, but he can put it in play and then he can shoot.
Yes.
Okay, so no more disadvantage for this situation because the ball was given by referee.
We go into a couple of few more situations. No?
This is first time.
Okay.
So if the player who have
Yeah, ball
take
is,
in a corner.
we need to change the caps. So referee needs to
Okay,
pull the ball out.
this is another situation, not from goal judge. Okay, referee stop the game.
Yes.
This is clear.
Yes.
He cannot shoot directly.
Yes.
But if a goal judge.
Goal judge is giving,
After
he
the
can
corner,
shoot.
he
Goal
can
judge
shoot.
is, goal judge is directly. Goal judge is directly.
Because you said
If
when the
referee
goal judge-
takes the ball out, now he cannot shoot directly, but he can put it in play and then shoot.
Mark, sorry, I have another question. If you get a situation with the player with the ball, he's coming closer to the goal line, but still he didn't know the goal line, the lateral side line. Without, let's say, visibly come to the line, turn around, shoot, and score the goal from the corner.
No, it's
I
duty of
understand. The
referee.
question is it a contra foul or we will restart with the corner throw?
It's a control.
Because then I think that we have to check the rules because it's rule is written. The improper restarted, the corner throw restarted not according to the rules will be repeated. So
Yeah, but you can, okay, you can two, if I may. Two
You can
different
hear it
situ-
in the back?
Two
No?
different situations. One is improper taking the corner throw, which says in the rule, if the players are still, the attacking players, inside 2 meter line, and the corner throw is taken, then we repeat. This is one. Another is what you said, what we don't put, this is not improper, this is not this rule.
my question is coming. Ball was touching
It's
the
going
goal
to
line.
foul.
Coming closer, then he's not directly on the line, turning around, see that it was the question. So it's contra foul, just to clarify this. It can happen, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Especially in the
Yeah,
last.
referees are instructed to, in a corner throw situation, to bring the ball back to lateral side. to lateral line, not 2 meters inside, because now it's changing the angle. It's very important. So the corner should be played by lateral side, by sideline.
Thank you.
Okay. The next one is an additional substitution area, what we call the flying substitution area. Yeah. To emphasize, when there is an exclusion, always it will be in the old re-entry box where you have to change. But during lifetime, if you want, you can change on the side, on the sideline. Couple of things, couple of rules for the teams and for the referees to watch. If a player of the green team wants to make a substitute somewhere here, player has to go in the water behind the goal line, then swim to his position and wait there for a player who's coming out to substitute. So no walking in front of the referee, same going out of the water. Substitution has been made. This player has to go back, he has to swim back and go to the bench. All the rules which apply from the re-entry box apply over here too. You have to be outside of the water up both, touch hands, that is to guarantee a certain closeness, not that, not that one player is waiting here and the other is going out here. They have to be close, touch hand above the water, high five. Don't push off the wall if there's a possibility for that, otherwise it will be an improper entry. Yes.
The pool, now where you're going to play these games, the gap between the lane and the wall is really small. It's less than 1 meter, so it's really hard to enter inside the field without pushing against the wall.
Yeah, but
it's going to be a problem for the legs.
We have
for
the
the
same
players.
situation in a 35-meter pools for exclusion area, right? If you have 33-meter or 35-meter pool, the exclusion area, it's possible to push from a wall. Do I allow it? No. The entry should be without pushing the wall. It's the same philosophy here.
But it's really small gap. It's really small.
We have this situation in exclusion box area. In the small pools, in the short pools, you can push from a wall. If it happens, it's improper re-entry.
we had this situation of a very narrow area last year in Hungary when we tested it, and they make a side stroke and they go into the water. They don't push off the wall. Yeah, so we can't allow it. Are there any questions about the procedure? No? Good. Okay. This is what I just mentioned. Above the water, touch hands, and then swimming in and outside. If there's a violation, which we have seen, the referees can look at it, and just as it is mentioned in the rules, the table official also can signal that when there's an improper entry. The timeout button. We haven't seen the actual situation yet, but we talked about it with the organizers. We had two situations last week at the other World League Super Final. Timeout button is very sensitive. Don't sit on it. When it goes off, unfortunately, it stops the system and you will have a timeout. Guy, you're laughing, but it happened, really. Where's the timeout button? Somebody was sitting on it and it went off. And the coach, no, I never did it. No, but one of the players was sitting on it. Another team, the timeout button rolled out from the bench and there was a button on top. The button fell on the ground. Timeout went off. Coach, no, not me. No, but it fell on the ground. Yeah, so be very careful with the timeout button. It will be probably on a separate chair where it is. But coach chooses if he wants to give it somebody in his hand or himself has it in the hand. But it's the responsibility of the team. You want to add something? No? It's clear? Good. 3 minutes interval time between the second and third period, that's clear. Automatic visual effects, I won't go into that. I don't think we have it over here. Maybe flashing seconds, the last 5 seconds, could be. That happened the last time, but we skip this one. A free throw outside of 6 meters. Free throw awarded outside of 6 meters. They can shoot it directly, as before. They can pick up the ball and pass. They can pick up the ball, put it in play, again, visibly put it in play, and then take a shot. Or swim, or fake, or whatever. Also, questions came up. If a player takes the ball with his left hand, throws it on his right hand, the ball is live because the ball left the hand. We had in one competition the situation that a player touched the ball with his foot, flipped it up. Now the discussion, did he put it in play? If we go into the rules that you can score a goal with every part of the body except with a clenched fist, we decided if a player, the ball is a little bit far away and he uses his foot to flip it up, get the ball and shoot, or flip it to another player, the ball is live. So as soon as the player, from one hand to another, himself, same hand, flips it up with his foot, the ball is live. And the defender can attack and the clock will run. Any questions or remarks about this? I think we discussed it. Also, maybe to clarify the situation, what we had, cap is off, referee takes out the ball. We have then an interval time. When the referee returns the ball and it was outside of 6 meters, this player cannot pick up the ball and shoot it. But he can pick up the ball, put it in play, and after that shoot or swim, etc. To mention a situation we had last week, end of the game, one team was losing by 1 goal and wanted to score. Coach asked for a timeout. After the timeout was over, all players, not all, but goalkeeper and 5 players went in front of the goal. 1 player stayed on the center line to receive the ball from the referee. She received the ball, put it in play, swam forward, fake, 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 and shot the ball. After a timeout, we know you cannot shoot the ball directly, but if you put the ball in play, you can swim, you can do whatever you want and score a goal. This is clear? Everybody? This option? Okay, I think we discussed this all. Goalkeeper is allowed to cross the center line, can go in attack, can shoot, can participate. Also, the goalkeeper can participate in the penalty shootout now. If it's the same goalkeeper who's in the goal, has to swim 1 time over to the other goal and take the shot. So, if the goalkeeper is one of the shooters, you will have on the penalty shootout form, you have the name of the goalkeeper and the name again in the shooting list. Keep in mind that what is possible during a shootout, when the goalkeeper is playing with the referees, going forward, backward, and the goalkeeper is excluded, during a penalty shootout, it is with substitution. This goalkeeper was on the shooter list, is on the shooter list. This goalkeeper will be removed from the shooter list. All players move up 1 place and a new player will add at place number 5. Any questions or remarks about this? Good. 2 timeouts are allowed during the game at any time. You can save them till the last quarter, you can save them to the last minute, you can ask back to them. So you ask for a timeout, when the time is over, immediately you can ask for another timeout before the game is restarted. So you have 2 minutes instead of 1 minute. Yeah, the coach will decide. It's clear? This is the one who causes some difficulties, not only for the referees, but also for the coaches. Yeah? The thing is, first, it must be a probable situation. Again, when we finish the theory of this, Mark will show some situations, some penalty situations, which hopefully clarifies a little bit more. It must be a probable goal situation. Player must have the intention to score a goal. And if he's impeded from behind, then you have to award a penalty. Yeah? It means grabbing the arm, wrist, whatever, being on top of this player, it's all impeding from behind. If a player is inside the 6 meters with the ball on his hand, clear view of the goal, he's attacked from behind, but in front of him is a player blocking the shooting line, then it's not a probable goal situation anymore. Then you don't call a penalty. It is difficult for the referees, which has to have the overview. Sometimes it's difficult for the coaches too, to see the whole picture. Was he clearly the only player there in a probable goal situation? But it will cause discussions, as it did in the past with the old penalty rule. Any remarks? Probably you have a lot of questions and remarks. We can't go into every single individual situation, but we have to see probably hundreds of penalties to say we have to go this way. But for now, this is what we have, and this is what we have to work with.
No, I think we're going to discuss it during the quiz.
Okay. We'll go over it when we see the clips. Any questions from the floor at this moment?
Well, the side attack. We are on the post with the ball in right hand, and the defender grabs on this side. Is it penalty or not?
The situation, I'm a left-hander.
Yeah.
When I'm on post,
Yeah.
and this is the post, and I'm here to shoot, and I'm grabbed from behind, and I can't finish my action, I think you have to call a
From
penalty.
behind, from the
Lateral side.
side, other side.
It's nothing changed about this as before.
Just one more. After one question more, please. For example, player is swinging with the ball, trying to score. There is
Yeah.
someone on his back swinging with him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't touch him. Maybe he is making some pressure on his back, down on the legs.
Interfere.
For example, he is taking the ball, nobody is touching him, but he misses the goal.
Yeah.
Because of this pressure on the back, on the legs. Is it penalty or not?
This is what the referee has to decide. If the referee decides, I give the advantage, he picks up the ball, he shoots the ball, and he misses, the referee cannot return. He applied advantage, then it goes. Same a player who has the ball in his hand, turns around, makes the shot, and maybe he's held over here, he misses the shot, we cannot return. The referee has taken the decision to allow to play the advantage, and he cannot say then when he misses the goal or the goalkeeper stops, now we give a penalty. That's not possible.
It's this is a difficulty of referees, that we need to decide to call it or not to call it, to give advantage to shoot the ball in a split second. Decision is, of course, a split second, and this is a difficulty because the referees are instructed to give an advantage to finish an action. They instructed that if player is not intent to finish action and just faking, they should not call anything. So we need to see the desire, the wish of a player to finish the action, and when it's impeded, if he is impeded from attack, then we can't call penalty. But it's their decision to give an advantage or to call it immediately. But again, the action should be really to score a goal. If it's just stopping and going back just to get a penalty, this is wrong. This is not going to be given penalty. Because now players swimming, having advantage, when they stop, the defender is on the back, we're trying to get a penalty. This is wrong. We need to finish the action.
This issue, defender to make contact only with the ball. If the ball is in the hand, including the hand,
It's
No hand.
if he played only for a ball This is clean.
Like, okay, if it's more like a turn and one good defender jump, just touch his
If
head to try
attacker
the
puts the
ball.
ball in the bag and defender steals the ball,
Yes.
what you can do?
That's why we have referees, George.
Correct.
Make that decision.
No, because in Berlin was one situation, one center forward, he brings the ball in front, he hold the ball, but the defender has very strong legs, jump, and that just touch his head with the ball. You understand me? You don't hold him, don't catch him.
In real life, I don't believe any defender can go over my head with a fantastic legs, not touching my head. You agree?
I agree.
So I cannot imagine going without touching my head to going for a ball.
Marky, look, not problem. That's because it's very good that you make this meeting, first of all. And here we have active participation of the clubs, because after the teams, they go back and speak with the players.
This is the reason.
Very good, this is very good. That's one question, again. The player has the ball, the defender, where is the limit to defend him? Where is the limit?
If he's out,
If this, it's one area that he cannot touch it, I can understand. Every touch is a penalty.
Yes, correct. That's it. When he's out of position, George,
It's okay.
the idea of this rule when it was proposed
Yes,
was to protect the
Correct,
player,
correct.
to
No.
give them, to see more live goals, to see more
look,
situations.
this rule, okay, we clarify here, is very good. Cover one gap, the center forward, because he's here, okay, I see him. He turns, Modlaga, he turns, and we say, you must continue, but he's fat, he cannot continue. Because he has one defender.
Yeah, that was a situation.
Yes,
I have a ball,
no problem.
I can kill the attacker and nothing because he
Correct.
holding a ball. Just
Okay.
to avoid this situation.
Also, everybody must understand from the coach that if the attacking has the ball in the net and the defender put from the back the ball under the water by the hand, this penalty is not called under the water.
correct? Only from
Correct.
front
This is
when
just
the
all
goalkeeper
I
does
just
that.
mentioned.
Correct.
I just
I
mentioned.
said from the back.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
cannot
correct.
go over you without touching you. So
Yes,
if I'm
yes.
going to keep the
Indeed.
ball down,
Yes, okay.
I'm going over your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Penalty. Clear.
But if the defender comes from the lateral side and hook, this is ball under the water.
Yes.
Or in the front of the goalkeeper.
Okay.
Again, to be, it's a very
No, for
difficult
them-
situation.
for them to understand.
Each situation completely different. Even small angle make a difference.
Yes, of course.
But again, the instruction is it should be in front of a goal. The position of the body should completely turn to the goal. It cannot be that the attacker 90 degrees to the goal and
Yes.
he receives a penalty. The whole body, shoulders should be going to the goal.
That should be scored.
This is very important, position of the body. So if let's say the attacker is only trying to turn and defender is coming from this lateral side, it's not a penalty.
Yes.
The defender should be on the back, the position of body should be completely on front of a goal. In front of a goal, we mean maybe half meter from each post to around 4 or 5 meter area. If he's coming from an angle, 30 degrees, 40 degrees, this is not penalty. To be clear, it's we can.
Yes, maybe.
So this is area half meter from a goal post. This is approximately the area which is considered. If player is coming from this side, from this angle, it's not a penalty. Just in front of a goal. Any questions?
Artistic drawing is not the best side.
This should be a penalty. Even if he comes from here.
If it's
He-
nobody
alone.
here, it's nobody
Yeah.
here, no
He's
defenders here, nobody, and it's in the back, this is it. But if we're talking about it's really angled and it's, let's say in this area, it's not penalty. It's close to this area, yes. Again, it's very difficult. Each situation has some small details,
Yes.
but it has to be 100% probable goal. This is a main thing.
But generally, the penalty, how we receive one penalty is the same. The situation is now we leave the hand of the defender to attacker to play.
Even before we had a
protect him.
problem to call
Yes,
penalties,
exactly.
even before, some
Okay.
penalties was no penalty.
Correct.
So nothing changed in this regard.
Okay. Well, some examples, if this happens in front of the goal, we should call for that. The system of goal, no goal. Gentlemen, you will be in the situation that for the first time we're going to test this. It's a testing mode. Yeah? The cameras were, they were working on it to install it. They were working on it yesterday, and it will be more easy to avoid any problems. Shot, was it goal, was it now goal, no goal? To be honest, the protocol, we will start with a certain protocol, and maybe we have to adapt it during the tournament or after the tournament or whatever. Because when there is such a situation of a shot, goalkeeper stopped it, is it goal, is it no goal? We have an additional official on the desk who is watching the screen. This additional official, first, it will be 4 cameras, 2 on each side, who are there. In a doubtful situation, this video assistant referee, he will tell the delegate, check, because doubtful situation. Probably the referee will know and the delegate also. By then, the referee has to take a decision to stop the game. Now you can imagine, there's a shot, goalkeeper stop, yes or no, and there's a counter-attack going. You don't want to stop that counter-attack, because if it was no goal, it is a legal situation and they can go on. So now is the question, when do we stop the game? Okay, it will be at an appropriate moment when there is no advantage somewhere, but the latest will be after the first counter-attack. So there's a shot, goalkeeper has the ball, doubtful situation, counter-attack is going, it's finished by a shot, maybe corner, maybe the goalkeeper, then we don't get a new counter-attack. Referee stops the ball. One takes the ball out of the water, the other referee at the side of the jury table will go over to the situation. It's very high definition, so, you know,
Second by picture.
Picture by picture, you can go back and forth as many times as you want, and then you take a decision. Was it goal or no goal? Was it goal? Then we go back to the time where this happened. There's a timeline on it, on the screen. So we define what time it is, and we start in the regular way of both teams on their own side of play. Was it not goal? Then when it was a corner at the other side, after the last attack, we will restart with the corner. When the goalkeeper had the ball, the referee will give the goalkeeper the ball, and then we continue with the game.
I don't understand why we must let the counter-attack, because if it's goal, after we review the VAR, and in the other post will be a goal, we must cancel that goal.
Correct? Yeah, we must cancel.
In the other sport, we stop immediately. Because, I'm sorry, can you let me? If you stop, if somebody tells you that you must check, then
I can tell you now. This is you're talking about in theory. In a real life, people need 10-15 seconds to check if it was goal or not goal. Okay, it's 10 seconds. By these 10 seconds, the counter-attack is going on. He see that it is a situation to review. So
no, I understood that
immediately.
No, I understood that immediately we receive.
No, how it's immediately? He needs to review the situation.
Okay, this is another question.
Maybe I was not there.
This I agree, because it
yes, if it was
also
not
for
goal,
the table needs
yes.
some set.
We had a situation. I watched the last week game, final game in Hanover, and it was one situation when it was a very doubtful goal. Not goal. Where goalkeeper stopped the ball and then he took it maybe from inside the goal. Immediately was counter-attack and scored the goal. It's last quarter, first quarter, last minute of first quarter. So what we do? If now we can go back to see if it was a goal, this goal would be cancelled. Everything happened except red cards and yellow cards and brutality will be scratched.
Yeah.
If any exclusion or anything, it will be scratched, going back to the time of this goal, unfortunately.
No, but
This
I
is
understood
situation.
that we will receive this signal gets checked
Not
immediately.
immediately, no,
If
it's
it's
not
not
possible
immediately, then it's
immediately.
okay.
It's gonna be 5-10 seconds until he review the situation.
There was a question from Serbia, I think.
No, no, I wanted to ask the same question.
Okay.
No, but it's okay, yes.
Yes, yes.
Because
Yeah,
it's
problem.
important the timing,
Mhm.
for this reason.
If it's not counter-attack and it's nothing going on, the referee can stop immediately when he receives the signal that there is a situation for review.
Any more questions or remarks?
Coaches cannot challenge a call, so this is not that to challenge a call. Until now, maybe we'll change it in the future, but
Just
not
the
now.
delegate can come.
Only referee can stop.
No, just the delegate can.
Yeah, the delegate tells you in a situation for review, and also this judge on a video, he shows you to review, same to like in football, we have situation to review, and then you decide when to stop.
Questions or remarks about this? We're gonna test it first time, and we'll see if it works. Now it works. Good. The penalty throws is still in here because there was a discussion 5 or 6 meters. The penalty shots will be taken from 5 meters. Okay, when we have a shot outside of the 6-meter line and it's near the 6-meter line, the referee who makes the call raises the hand to show it's outside and the player can shoot. Don't expect when there's a free throw near the center forward that the referee will raise his hand. It will be near the 6-meter line. Yeah, in a doubtful situation. There are questions both referees have to do it. It's very difficult when you are the front court referee concentrating on a center forward situation with many defenders around, and your colleague makes a call that you have to check if he raises his hand. So primarily, the referee who makes the call near the 6-meter line, he has to show the hand, yes or no. If the other referee can mirror, okay, it's fine, but it's not an obligation. His task is to control the front court. Is this clear? Yeah.
In the situation where the player shoots the ball from outside six, but the referee hasn't signaled,
Then probably it was not outside 6 meter.
but if
Yeah.
it was.
Then the referee, when he made a mistake that it was a doubtful situation, he didn't raise the hand, maybe he allows the goal, yes or no, I don't know. But if the referee didn't show the hand because he thinks, however, the coach maybe thinks it was outside and he thought, no, it was not outside. Yeah, those discussions, yeah, we will have. But primarily, of course, the referee can forget, that's a mistake. But when it's legally outside of 6 meter, he shoots the ball, he forgot to raise it, but he allows the goal, I don't have a problem. Yeah, it's referee's decision. What's a mistake when he forgot to raise his hand? Okay, audio equipment, just to be clear, both referees have it in their ear. The delegate also. There was sometimes a question about it. The the delegate doesn't talk about any decisions. Yeah, when the clock stops functioning or there is a problem, he may say to the referee that something is going on, but he will not give any advice on the referee decisions. Good. We have the video monitoring system. It's already installed here completely now. You're going to tell something later about it? Or do we
We have a presentation about it, more detailed, but now just videos.
Okay. So we have that goal, no goal system with 4 cameras, and we have at this moment 3 cameras more. 2 on one side of the pool, cover the whole area. On the other side, a very wide angle who covers the area too. It will be used for referees' education and referees' evaluation immediately after the game and making clips of it. But it will also be used to identify any violence or brutality. We had in the Intercontinental Cup, we had a situation happened somewhere in the second quarter. Coach went ballistic and referees didn't see what happened, delegates didn't see what happened. But after the match, we knew that it was in the second quarter, this and that minute. We went to review, and it was very clear the ball was somewhere else, but an attacker player said, boom, above the water. That's brutality, and we punish after the game, after the match, we punish the player with suspension. Of course, it is a mistake that the referee didn't identify it. You don't get a penalty, you don't get 4 minutes with one man less. It's clearly a referee's mistake. It happened in earlier events where we gave the referee some days holiday because of this mistake. But we cannot replay the game. But we will punish the player who will who is committing the brutality. We will punish this player after the match. Also in a situation when there's a little bit boom boom, and the referee decides, okay, you out misconduct, it's very easy to clear. But when a player very clearly above the water, you see him hit maybe two or three times, and you exclude him with misconduct, that's a misapplication of the rules. Also then, we will punish the player additional, and we will notify the referee that he made a mistake. It happened in the past. So this system caused a change in the Appendix C. Also, a team can ask for a post-match review. We have forms for that. There's a kind of procedure like a protest. You have to go, like you file a protest, to the delegate with a form. The forms you will get, the teams will get tonight, and it has to be within 30 minutes after the match. Before we said you have 60 minutes because maybe video reviewing, etc. takes more time, but actually it doesn't take more time. If a doubtful situation happens, you only need to remember it's in this period, in that minute, approximately. You can review it, we can review it. But if you want to challenge it, it's the same as the protest. You have to fill it out in the form. You have to give it. Unfortunately, FINA raised it up to 500 Swiss francs or dollars. You have to pay that, and then we will check it. But again, also the TWPC can initiate a process like this. If the delegate has seen something, the referee didn't see it, he can write down the period and the time, and after the match he can review it.
The 500 Swiss francs, if the call is overturned, is that money returned, or that money is automatically goes?
If a process is upheld, yes.
Then it's returned to them?
Yes.
If it's not a valid protest, then the money is forfeited?
It's going to FINA.
What was the amount before?
100.
100, and they've moved it to 500?
Yes, it's in the end. We found it out later also.
They had a scenario like this for open water swimming where they raised it up, and as athletes we were very concerned about whether or not countries will then put the protest forward or save the money. I understand to deter that, but this is something that FINA just put in as a, do you know when it started, Wim?
No, I always thought it was 100 until I checked the rules, so it probably after the last Congress. You happen to know, Bill, when they changed it?
No, I think it was probably after the last Congress when they printed the rule book.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is 2017 that they changed it.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's really, it's an issue. We had also somebody
It's
who asked,
significant.
you accept credit cards? Yeah, unfortunately, we don't.
No.
Only cash.
Yeah.
They come to bank to give me one POS.
In Alpha Bank, we always
You
have a
have
cash.
some bottom. Yeah. They go upstairs.
No, this is the situation, but it's, you know, it probably will put people to thinking to file a protest, because with protest is the same, or to ask for a review.
Okay.
But it also avoids all those people who come to you
You have to. Yeah.
with an easy situation. Hey, can you look at this? Can you look at that? Can you look at that? You know?
Sure, I understand.
Okay. Any more questions or remarks about this? That was it. Mark, you will show some clips. Yeah. Is it okay like this? Yes.
Okay, we'll go over situations about new rule situations that captured from previous games. So referee, you can see on the far side, raises a hand when it's outside of 6-meter shot. This is an example of correct flying substitution. Over here. This is incorrect flying substitution, and we have only one case until now. You see the players did that high five. Greek players. Unfortunately for you, it's a Greek players. You see again, they didn't high five. This is a situation when a contrafall was away from a location of a ball. The contrafall was here. You can see the player took the ball, puts in play, and continued the action. This is another example of correct flying substitution. This is again, okay, we'll see now. This is incorrect substitution. Again, same situation. Again, another correct substitution. He's coming out of the water. High five now is coming. This is situation example of not putting ball in play correctly. You can see that player is not really putting ball in play. Again, it's a free throw, and he is not really putting ball in play. Just it's not visible. Now a substitution. Again, not correctly putting ball in play after free throw. You see, he's just spinning a ball. This is not a ball in play. Spinning a ball, it's not ball in play. He needs to put a separated ball in the mark. Yes, he is.
Mark, can you, so if that's not legal and the other one isn't legal, the definition is it needs to
The
leave the
definition,
hand?
it's this rule in a book for 120 years.
Yeah.
You have to separate the ball and from the hand. It should be some separation, any kind of separation. Drop the ball, toss a ball, put in the forward, but this is not separation, spinning a ball. This is not. It should be visible for everybody. Okay, ball is in play. I can attack you as a defender, and the shot clock can be started. This is a reason for that. If I'm spinning, I don't know. Can I attack you or not? because now it's important situation because you can shoot after free throw, after faking. But faking is also, faking is not a ball and play. You have to put a ball in play and then you can do whatever you want. And now a substitution, it was, you see, double substitution, and it's done correctly. This is a correct application of a rule. You see, she puts the ball in play, fakes, and shoots. This is okay. This is a situation with a corner. You can see in the beginning, you can see it, but he put the ball in play, moving. He still has a corner. This is correct goal. Also in our correct application, putting ball in play. This is again substitution. This is example of goalkeeper going over the central line.
Goalkeeper can go over the halfway. 7-6 back. Come up, ball's out, now it's a scramble. Still need the ball, no goalkeeper at home. And that's the result.
This is now an example of putting ball in play. Okay, here's an example of a ball, contra fall, they on the back, they playing ball on location, no problem. Just to bring it outside of 2 meters.
Brooks takes it, gives it back to Edwards.
This is a correct contra fall. Player never put a ball in play. And it's contra fall. Again, player never put the ball in play. Good job. This is not correct entrance of a player of substitution. Look where he is coming to the ball. This is not correct. Instructions to referees in this situation not to punish a player. Until now, we're still in transition. It's just new. So we instruct not to punish a player, but we instruct the referees to speak to coach and tell him this is not acceptable. If it happens next time, it's going to be yellow card for a coach for not controlling his players. But not any punishment to a player. Also, it's correct. She dropped it in the water. This is contra fall, and again, player just dribbling the ball, not putting ball in play. This is not correct. Again, it's the same. You see the player never puts the ball in play. She needs to put it in play in favor. this was contrafall was inside 6 meters, so player cannot shoot directly. Again, the contrafall was inside 6, so player didn't understand it and play immediately, so she cannot do it.
Now it's just inside 6.
This is an example where players are hanging around here doing nothing. This is also not acceptable. Referee should ask if it's take too long. How much is too long? Okay, two attacks. We're staying there, not substituting. Referee will ask, what are you doing here? Go to the bench. This is also, you see the position of the coach. Not clear, but also this is example of video goal no goal system that can be used now. Because it's not really clear it was a goal or no. Talking about this situation that now the coach goes to in defense, going to crossing the goal line in defense. Here, because we have now this system of goal no goal, the cameras here installed under a catwalk just on a line. So if coach on defense will be going at least half meter forward, he's gonna block the camera. So we still have another camera, but sometimes it's not possible to see. We need 2 cameras. So the referees will be instructed to enforce that coach should be staying behind the goal line on defense. If he's staying even half meter, he will block the camera. We ask organizers to have maybe white line, that just to make coach to understand that he is going over this line. But it's going to be enforced, so please be prepared. If you crossing the defense goal line, it's going to be yellow cards, because it's very important now. This is another example. Referee is raising the hand when the ball is outside 6 meters. Another example of raising hand.
Lots of scrambling again for the Chinese attack. I think they're working it towards a tactic, trying to... Oh, why not? Sorry, take it back.
Another example of goalkeeper crossing the central line.
There you go. It'll be interesting where she plays in the setup. Straight down to the middle.
7 on 6. She's going, goalkeeper going right down to the 2 metre line.
No goalkeeper there.
The contrafall was in a center position, you see, and the ball is played and is corrected. You see now we put the ball in play, no problem. This is another example of not putting ball in play correctly. This was with some delay, putting ball in play with some delay, and okay, this is kind of acceptable in this because it's just new, but he just now, you will see, he puts the ball in play now. This is, of course, it's late, but okay, we understand it, we're still using the old rules, we used to use old rules now, so it's difficult for players. But the situation was nice for new rules, that can you create a immediate exclusion, and he doesn't need to pass to anyone, he can go and score a goal. We can see the substitution now. This is the same situation that we saw, illegal re-entry, improper re-entry. And you can see clearly that it was shown and cut. But until now, it's only one situation. this is also possible. He puts in play, swimming, separation with the ball, swimming, no problem. This is another example. You see player is jumping here. This is not correct. And this is also example of not putting ball in play. Player just sit on the ball, never puts the ball in play. It's exclusion. He puts the ball in play and goes shoot, no problem. Very good. So this is about new rule situation. If there are any questions? It's clear. We will go just a little bit about situations with penalties. You see any questions? This is correct penalty. Ball was in the hand, but it's correct application. It probably would be penalty by all rules also, but now it's more. Referee is more flexible in the decision. This is example of not correct penalty, because you clearly see one player is on the front. You see, definitely you see one block here, so it cannot be a penalty. This is okay. This is correct penalty, but okay, the referee should be given a chance to finish the action. So it's a little bit too early to call. This is also maybe even old rules. This is example that it should be exclusion maybe, but not a penalty because it's outside of a goal. But it probably should be excluded. Yeah. This is a comments about this clip that position but was taken by ducking under, but then after this the penalty was okay. But you can see definitely that the player is taking position with ducking under, so it should be counter foul. And we will discuss it now after the break. We will discuss a lot of situations. So it should be counter foul, but if not called counter foul, then penalty is okay.
Yeah, there's been a couple of offences there for Australians. We're going to work on that. They've adjusted in defence with their 5 metres. As I say that. Yeah, there's been a couple of offensive there for Australians. We're going to have to work on that. They've adjusted in defence with their 5 metres. As I say that.
In our second quarter final of the men's competition, Canada, the Whitecaps taking on China in blue.
This is example of also correct penalty.
In our second quarter final of the men's competition, Canada, the Whitecaps taking on China in blue. Cover.
This is a good steal, so it's a good no call of referee. This is a situation that should be called penalty, it was not called. Okay, I have some questions about this situation, but we're not talking in this discussion now, because how center get position with holding. So, but after this was okay penalty. This is probably old rule also with the penalty. Ball is played from a corner. Again, some questions about how position is taken, but it's different the discussion.
Wait on.
This is actually we spoke about this similar situation is correct penalty. This is a situation for no penalty, and it was called a penalty. You can see in a slow motion that nobody touched a player, the hand or body, nothing. He just mishandled the ball. So it's not really a penalty. We should be careful. You see now in slow motion again. The player defender was trying to play clean, steal the ball, but probably touch a hand or something. This is example not correct penalty because it's not 100% goal. Two defenders is going away from the goal, it's not a penalty. Before this new rule, it probably would say, referee can say the ball was too high. But now we can say, she was impeding from the back. It's high or not high, we don't know. If she can reach it or we don't know. So it's a penalty. So, but it should be at least, it should be reachable, of course it should be reachable, but we don't know how high she can go to reach a ball. This is a correct penalty. Okay, you see the comments, it should be counterfoul called before, for blocking, and then, okay, when it's correct penalty. You see again, but first it was counterfoul. The blocking, attacker is blocking defender. Celebration with a ball in the hand and it's penalty. This is example of referee that was not patient enough, should be finishing the action and it was called penalty. This is an example of not correct penalty because just the three defenders are around. Any doubts about this situation? You can see defender 1, 2, and when his third is coming, not really 5 meters.
The problem of these simulations, if I may say something.
Yeah, sure.
The referee is watching a couple. The referee has 2 eyes, which are sending the signals in the brain, and we are not chameleons. You cannot, at the second, when you are following attacker and defender on the back for 1 second, second, third second, you are following, you see a foul. But half seconds before, somebody from defense showed the defending the goal.
Boris, nobody
this is the worst moment. It's not a mistake. This is how our brains are working. We cannot spread our view on the third player who was not active in this action.
Nobody said that your job is easy. Nobody said that.
I'm just trying to explain.
Your job is super difficult. But yes, I understand. It's natural reaction, and how we process it takes time, and when situation change. This was probably not penalty before, but now it's a penalty because impeding on the back. So this is all about the situation regarding new rules and new penalties and new. Any questions about?
There are a few videos, especially in women water polo, when the player was fouled from the side, not from the back, but concretely so the girls were swimming in this position, not behind, but okay, she was fouled on the back.
Yeah.
So these are penalties as well.
Yes.
Okay, just
Yes. Anything?
Any more questions or remarks? Team managers, referees, delegates? Got one. Did you coffee outside? We have a coffee break now. We'll continue with the referees and delegates after the break. Thank you. Team managers.